What's going on, Knicks Nation? We have another trade regarding the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. On this Friday night, September 27th, the New York Knicks just made an unbelievable trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves involving Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns, Donte DiVincenzo, and from what I'm seeing, a first-round pick. Where do we even begin tonight? I'm in awe. I'm in shock. I want to open up this episode saying that I'm in shock, number one. I did not see this coming, number two. Number three, Julius Randle was just with the coach, Tom Thibodeau, outside, with his foundation. Bernard King, excited for the season, and then boom. A lot of layers to get through, a lot of things to talk about that led up to this point, but I'm going to open up by saying I am in shock. I am in total shock. Hold on, I even got this Mikal Bridges thing up here still. I haven't been live in a minute, so bear with me. I'm still going through the shenanigans and stuff. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat tonight. We're going to go through this together, guys. We're going to go through this together, and we're going to get through it because I'm in total shock. I mean, I've said that about 5 times. So let's get to the crux of the trade, right? Let me just share my screen for you guys so you guys can read this with me. So, yeah, I mean, I can't. I don't, who tweeted it? Shams. Now that Woj is retired. So let's go to Shams. Shams' Twitter account. All right, let me move the chat over here. Wow. Knicks have acquired Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota for Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick via the Detroit Pistons. So Julius Randle, all the hoopla that, was coming with him this summer. We didn't know the severity of his shoulder injury. We didn't know if he was healthy. We didn't know if he was going to come into training camp and take on contact. Just released the YouTube channel, by the way. Some interesting nuggets now that I look back at it in Julius Randle's YouTube channel, by the way. So first reaction was, what the heck? Where did this come from? First of all, Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns have been linked like this for the past couple of years. To the hip, sort of like the Knicks and OG Anunoby. They've been linked for a long time. And I guess where there's smoke this far is it's done. There's just a lot of layers to get through, and I don't even. All right, let's begin with a couple weeks ago. Julius Randle kind of. First of all, I'm shocked that Donte's even in this deal. Like, that's a whole nother aspect. Now we're talking about, like, why do the Knicks have so many guards? Why are they signing campaign? Why did they sign now? Landry Shamet is definitely going to make the team, right? Definitely making the team. Exhibit 9 deal, he's making the team, by the way. So Donte, who set the Knicks single season record in terms of 3-pointers, is gone. Julius Randle, amazing January, got hurt, is gone. Incoming, Karl Anthony Towns. And let's just put Karl Anthony Towns on the shelf really quick. I just want to talk about Ju and Donte. So a couple of weeks ago, Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo. I see every one of you in the chat, by the way, and I'm going to get to your comments. I just want to try kind of like talk through this. So a couple of weeks ago, Julius Randle posted something on his Instagram saying, the truth shall come out, right? The truth shall come out. Everyone brushed it under the rug, right? Jersey wasn't selling in the Knicks team store. Everything got brushed under the rug. Randle it seemed like he was joking. I guess he wasn't. I guess Randle wasn't joking. The truth shall come out, and the truth is that Randle was a Minnesota Timberwolf. This all started when the New York Knicks and Randle couldn't come to a contract extension agreement. Let's go back to that. They couldn't come to an agreement on a contract extension. So fast forward to today, when literally in a couple of days, media day opens up, training camp opens up, Julius Randle is no longer a Knick. And I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this because the Knicks have now made 3 major trades in the last calendar year. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. This is crazy. I mean, we'll get to the fit and everything with Karl-Anthony Towns, and we'll talk about Karl-Anthony Towns in a second, but I'm just in awe. First of all, the package. In my opinion, look, let's go through the package. What is it? I just read it. It's Towns, Julius Randle, Donte, and a first-round pick. So, look, the Knicks are losing. You're essentially Karl-Anthony Towns. Can you say that he fits better with this current Knicks team? I can say that he's a better 3-point shooter. He's a big that can rebound, playoff experience. Had some good moments for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the last postseason for them. But he's also, an injury prone, right? So you essentially, I wouldn't call Karl-Anthony Towns or Julius Randle a wash, but I don't know. I just don't like the Donte DiVincenzo being in this. Like I really don't. I really don't like Donte DiVincenzo being in this deal. That hurts for me personally because Donte came in here, just had an incredible season for this New York Knicks this past season, and I just don't like him being in the deal. And look, I know you can kind of replace him sort of with the guys you brought in. Now that frees up more minutes for Deuce, frees up more minutes for Campaign, frees up more minutes for Shamet. You assume that he's going to make the team. But I don't like Donte being in this deal. I'll tell you that right now. I'm actually pissed off that Donte's in this deal. I am. And, oh, man, I just can't believe this. Like, I honestly can't believe this is happening. First of all, this is what I tweeted on the Knicks Nation page 8 hours ago, by the way. 8 hours ago. Julius Randle debuted the Skechers SKX Rain last month with Skechers. Haven't seen this colorway yet, though. Fire emoji. From his latest YouTube video. Green. Skechers. In the picture. He knew. His first YouTube video was him at the end of the video going back at it, and looking back at it now, Julius Randle was pretty much, somebody asked him, so what's next for Julius Randle? And he kind of chuckled, right? He was like, I don't know, I guess you're going to have to wait and see, or blah, blah, blah. And in my mind, I was kind of like, okay. Like, what's next. But looking back at it, he knew. They knew. He knew he was getting traded. Oh, this by the way, it's showing blue on the screen, but it's green, by the way. I don't know why it's showing blue on the screen, but his sneakers are green. So, yeah. Wow. Hit some of these comments, man. Let's see what you guys are talking about, man. Appreciate every single one of you hopping in here. Smash the subscribe button. We are just getting started. Smash the like button. This is absolutely insane. Queen's Kid says garbage trade. What's going on, Queen's Kid? Kevin says I'm physically ill. Knicks junkie. What's going on? Queen's Kid says Towns is soft. We'll get to the Towns aspect. Detroit first round pick. Tati in the chat says, bro, all I keep on saying is why. How did Thibs and Cat work out the first time? So all we got is Cat vibes in the chat. What's going on, man? I see all of you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys in the chat hopping in here on this impromptu live stream tonight. Gypsy says Campaign from Twitter. Campaign is horrible, man. What are we talking about? Gypsy, he killed us during the not killed us, but he was the little spark for us during the Philadelphia 76ers Knicks series. Calm Night says, bro, Donte. That's the thing that hurts, man. The truth shall come out. That's what Julius Randle tweeted. No, put on his Instagram a couple of weeks ago. What is the truth? What is the truth now? I kind of want to read in between the lines. Let's go all the way back to when Julius Randle got hurt, right? So there was a report that came out that I think either Julius Randle or the Knicks wanted him to get the surgery, and he decided not to get the surgery for his shoulder. Or if you guys can correct me in the chat, if I'm messing up this story, bear with me. So there was a report that came out that he wanted to get the surgery, or the Knicks wanted him to get the surgery. Well, he didn't get the surgery back in when he got hurt in January. He wanted to rehab, or the Knicks wanted him to rehab to see if he can rehab his way back to play on this basketball team come playoff time, right? Turns out he re-injures the shoulder. Re-injures the shoulder. Remember, there was a video leaked that Julius Randle was working out behind the scenes with his trainer. And a little bit after that, that's when we started to see Julius Randle around the team more, working out with the Knicks. So I don't know if there's some turmoil between Julius Randle and the Knicks front office. I'm just trying to connect the dots here. So kind of bear with me for a second. And now that he's traded, now that he's gone, I mean, it's kind of all making sense, by the way. So either he didn't want to get the surgery or wanted to get the surgery, and he wound up not getting the surgery, re-injures his shoulder, gets the surgery. Then when it's time to get an extension, the New York Knicks do not want to give Julius Randle an extension. And that's where I think Julius Randle was like, all right, trade me. And that's where I think the New York Knicks kind of said to themselves, look, we're not going to lose Randle for nothing. We're going to have to trade this guy. Karl Anthony Towns, his name has been linked, and we like Karl Anthony Towns. And they made a deal on September 27th on a Friday night. Wow. So in case you guys caught all of that, I'm just trying to connect the dots here. And it just seemed like at the end of the day, it just seemed like Julius Randle in the Knicks front office, they kind of butted heads, I think, back when he got the shoulder surgery. I think it kind of stemmed from back then. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm just trying to connect these little tea leaves. So now we have Karl Anthony Towns on the team. A lot of you in the chat saying losing Donte hurts, man. I appreciate every single one of you in the chat. It does. It does, man. It does. It hurts. It hurts, bro. It hurts. Amanda, what's going on, Amanda? No one else really. They didn't give up. They didn't give them a chance. Minnesota fleeced us straight up. Queens kid, then they broke up the Infinity Gauntlet. Just going through these comments. Appreciate every single one of you. Donte was the depth. Big Task, what's going on, man? Doesn't Towns hate Tibbs? TA says Cat is trash. Minnesota fleeced us straight up. All right, let's get to this trade. Profit, is this real? It's real, Profit. It's real. Karl Anthony Towns is a New York Knick. It's happened. I mean, we can go through his contract later on in the stream, but it's not great. I'll tell you that. But he's healthy. And he just he's coming off a good playoff run with a good. He had good moments with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not gonna slight him on that. He had some good moments with the Timberwolves last season in the playoffs. Some great moments. So I'm not gonna get on him for that. But he does have his little hiccups here and there. Shervin with the super chat. Appreciate you, Shervin, with the super chat. I heart effed it up. Wow. I haven't really even thought about that. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein, right? There was some rumblings that the New York Knicks were caught off guard with Isaiah Hartenstein not re-signing with the New York Knicks. He gets the big bag to go to OKC. Fast forward to last week, Knicks announced that Mitchell Robinson is not going to be available until December, January. Knicks fans are going crazy. I don't know who's our center. Is it going to be Jericho Sims? Is it going to be Huck Porty? Are they going to trade for Walker Kessler? I don't know. What is going on? Tom Thibodeau literally says Julius Randle can play the center position 10 to 15 minutes a game. I have faith in Julius Randle. We literally did a player preview saying that somebody coming off of shoulder surgery, you kind of don't want him to bang down low with, the big guys and, disrupt his shoulder. And that's what I'm saying. There's like a lot of layers to this thing. And I kind of want to like make my own timeline. I'm kind of like doing it in my head, talking it out with you guys. But appreciate the super chat. Yeah, Knicks thought Isaiah Hartenstein was coming back. They did. Mitchell Robinson seems like he's always rehabbing his ankle again. Knicks needed, say what you want. Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm going through Towns' stats really quick, so just bear with me for a second. So Towns is a 7-footer who can stretch the floor, right? Has some experience with Tom Thibodeau, number one. Him and Thibs kind of bumped heads. 2 seasons ago, Towns hurt his hamstring. Towns is a good player. I think he's kind of like, Towns is one of those players who his perception around like fans and around the NBA is like he's overrated. But when you really like dive into his numbers, he's good. 41% from 3 last season, 21 points a game, 8 rebounds, 1.5 offensive rebounds, 3 assists, almost a steal a game. 28 years old, same age. Is he the same age as Julius Randle or younger than, or same age as Julius Randle? But he's a 7-footer. So now that from the Knicks' perspective, you can throw Towns at that center position, and with OG Anunoby, with Mikal, Jalen, and the Donte thing blows my mind. Like, I know they had to make the money work somehow, but the Donte DiVincenzo being in the deal kind of blows my mind. Like, it does. Like, losing Donte DiVincenzo, does the loss of Donte and Julius make up for, the acquisition of Towns like make up for the loss of Donte and Julius and that Detroit first round pick? I don't know. That's what I'm kind of going through in my head right now. And me personally, I just look, Julius and Towns, you can let's call that a wash, right? Let's call that a wash. Let's give the edge to right now. Let's give the edge to Towns because he's healthy. We know he's healthy. He's not coming off major shoulder surgery, all right? And he's just coming off a good playoff run with the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? So bear with me for a second. Let's give the slight edge to Towns. But then you lose Donte, who set the Knicks record in threes and just had an incredible year. Started last year off the bench, came into the starting lineup, just fit so well with the starting lineup, and his defense was underrated last season. I know we acquired Mikal Bridges, so that kind of pushed him to the bench, and you kind of didn't want his frustration to, mount like it did last year when he was on the bench. And I was saying, like, what if he gets frustrated on the bench again and doesn't want to be on the bench and wants to be a starter? Like, I don't know if he's going to start in Minnesota. I think he's going to come off the bench over there. But it's just, guys, I just can't believe this. Just living with the super chat. Appreciate you. Towns better shoot like Frank Castle next season. Just living. What's going on, man? In case you're just joining us, the New York Knicks and Minnesota Timberwolves have made a blockbuster deal. Karl Anthony Towns is a New York Knick. Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo are a Minnesota Timberwolf. Yeah, I mean, let's go to the Karl Anthony Towns aspect, right? So you bring in a 7-footer who can stretch the floor. He's not just a good 3-point shooter. He's an elite 3-point shooter. So You bring in Karl-Anthony Towns, you pair him with Mikal, you pair him with OG, pair him with Brunson. Is it going to be an adjustment? Yes. But Towns is a lot of people, like a lot of the naysayers that didn't like Julius Randle said that, he kind of ruined the Knicks offense and just holding the ball a lot and was like an ISO player and the turnovers mounted a lot. And we needed someone like Towns to fit this team because it'll be a better fit. Well, January hit and Randle kind of changed his game, shifted his game, and was a better all-around player in January. But going back to the Towns aspect, he's an elite three-point shooter, big body, 7-footer, man. Okay defender, right? He's the okay defender. He can stretch the floor. I feel like the spacing is going to be awesome for this new Knicks team, and it's going to be interesting. Now you're bringing in a new guy in here he's an all-star as well. New adjustments. You kind of have to like reshape your team, kind of, right? With Towns, but I feel like his play will feed well off Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I just feel like there's so many different ways the Knicks can now hurt you on offense with Towns. Because, look, these are the conversations that the Knicks probably have in the front office. Like, there's some probably think that his offensive game fits better than Julius Randle's offensive game. And, hey, I guess we just have to wait and see. But I just can't believe this got done. Calm Knight says, bro, our team is still stacked. LMAO. Yeah, it is. It is. Wayne Thomas says, Knicks are going for a baby. What's going on, Wade? Knicks have a starting lineup from the playoffs, but with a 7-foot all-star Mikal Bridges instead of Donte. Good way of looking at things. That's Andy. All right, I kind of want to go through this comment. So he says, Knicks have a starting lineup from the playoffs, but with a 7-foot all-star Mikal Bridges instead of Donte. So you brought in Mikal Bridges, right? That kind of pushed Donte DiVincenzo to the bench anyway, right? So his minutes were going to go down this season. Now you bring in a Karl-Anthony Towns who wasn't here last year, and Julius Randle wasn't here in the postseason, right? And the Knicks took Indiana to 7 games without OG Anunoby for the most part of that series, without Julius Randle for the most part of that series, for the most part of the playoffs, the entire playoffs. So now you add in Karl-Anthony Towns, you add in a Mikal Bridges. So maybe they're kind of looking at it like that. You're adding Mikal, subtracting Donte. You're adding Karl-Anthony Towns. You're subtracting Julius Randle, who has been injury prone these past couple of years. So has Karl-Anthony Towns. So the starting lineup right now, like if the season started next week, I'm not sure if the New York Knicks, maybe they go Brunson, Deuce, Mikal, OG, Towns. I like that kind of. It's gonna be a fun training camp, but now that you lost Donte, and that's just maybe the Knicks are looking at it like that. I'm just kind of just talking through it with you guys and just going through it. Big Task, what's going on? Embiid is going to feast on Karl-Anthony Towns. Granted, McBride is a good defender, but I don't know, man. I miss Donte already. We traded our best player off the bench. Joe, what's going on? We traded our best player off the bench and a better power forward for Randle. Don't tell me this is true. It is. Nostalgic. Kolek crew. There it is. Nostalgic. There it is, man. Look. I like that you brought Kolek up because the Knicks love Tyler Kolek, and they gave him all this guaranteed money. I think it broke a record for a second-round pick. He played well in Summer League. I know Summer League doesn't really matter, but he showed flashes in Summer League. He's in terms of passing ability, he is NBA ready, in my opinion. So I was kind of asking myself, now that Donte goes to the bench, where is all of this playing time coming from Kolek? I know he's a rookie. He doesn't need playing time. But now you lose a Donte DiVincenzo. Now this opens up playing time for the glut of guards that you had. Sort of like what the Knicks did with the OG Anunoby trade. By compiling RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley, condensing them for OG Anunoby for the better overall player. Now, you drafted Tyler Kolek. My assumption is he's going to play, and I already thought that he was going to provide a major spark for this Knicks offense this year. Not major, but in terms of passing ability. But now it's game on. Now Tyler Kolek is now I'm excited to watch him play now. I'm excited, him alongside Deuce. Now let's look at your bench. Now you have Kolek, Campaign, Deuce McBride. Those are your 3 guards. Josh Hart, Precious. So I know losing Donte stings, but the Knicks can kind of talk themselves into like, okay, we can kind of make up for Donte's loss by, spreading out the minutes from Kolek to Deuce and whatnot. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe it, man. The New York Knicks did it. New York Knicks did it. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat, by the way. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already yet. We are live on Twitter as well. So appreciate every single one of you joining me here tonight for this. Mikal Bridges was a late night trade. I was sitting on my couch, minding my business, looked at my phone. I thought it was a fake Shams, by the way. I thought it was a fake Shams Charnia tweeting that the Knicks have acquired Karl Towns. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Turns out it's real. And here we are again. Another major trade for the New York Knicks. Those who said Leon Rose was asleep at the wheel and didn't want to make any trades. Fast forward to September 27th, 2024. Just look at what we turned Quickley, Barrett, Donte, Julius Randle into Karl Towns, not Mikal, but Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. So look, man, I have faith in this front office. I really do. And you guys should too. You guys should have faith that this front office knows what the heck they're doing. They knew what the heck they were doing in that OG Anunoby trade. And I have faith this is going to work out. I have faith that, this new look Knicks team will compete with the best still. Look, I had high championship aspirations before, and I still do. This doesn't change anything. Honestly, this doesn't change anything. We didn't know the health of Julius Randle, number one. So I'm just trying to refresh the timeline to see if let me share my screen again for you guys. Sorry, bear with me. Bear with me for 1 second. All right. Ben Stiller tweets, oh, man. CK, I'm still torn. I don't know how to feel. Forever legendary, Donte DiVincenzo versus the Philadelphia 76ers gave us one of the best moments in MSG in our lifetime, winning us that game. Shout out to Donte DiVincenzo, man. Don't know how to feel about that. But, yeah, this picture right here, it's funny because we were doing player previews, and our first player preview was Donte DiVincenzo. And when we got to the Josh Hart player preview, I asked my podcast co-host, Chris, I asked him, which Villanova guy do you think will be dealt first? Because it's the NBA. It's a business. And we were kind of haggling over, it's going to be Donte or Josh Hart. And we kind of felt that it was going to be Donte because of his contract. And boy, talk about a night. From Ian Begley, Knicks per league sources in touch with team feel they had a great opportunity to address their biggest need at center in trading for a 4-time All-Star and 2-time All-NBA player in Karl Towns. They see Towns, 28, as a great fit with their other high-end talent and someone who complements the rest of the core well. They also feel Towns gives them a strong opportunity for sustained success. Poor sources in touch with the team. Final details of the trade still being worked out. Wow. Julius Randle is no longer a Knick. Julius Randle. S550, man, what's going on? Appreciate you in here, man. Just another impromptu live stream, man. Just I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Nostalgic, what's going on? Championship. Lamar, what is happening here? Julius Randle is no longer a Knick. That is what's happening here, Lamar. So it is official. Randle is no longer a Knick. Smart Kid says, Cat is way better than Randle. Let's not be delusional. Smart Kid, there's a lot of people that agree with you. There's a lot of people that disagree with you. I would not say he is way better than Julius Randle. It's a discussion, though. Smart Kid. It is a discussion. Way better three-point shooter than Randle. Can stretch the floor better than Julius Randle. And maybe that's what the Knicks kind of felt like they needed. They needed a big that can stretch the floor. It's a 7-footer. He's bigger than Julius Randle. And with this Mitchell Robinson news, in my opinion, kind of changed everything. It kind of changed the Knicks thinking. Maybe the Knicks didn't know the severity of the Robinson injury. Maybe they thought that he was going to be back, but I honestly think this Mitchell Robinson situation, they were like, all right, we cannot get something done with Julius Randle in terms of an extension. We need a big body in here. The price for Kessler may have been too high. I don't want to give you a first-round pick and Deuce McBride and something else for Walker Kessler. I don't want to do that. So the Knicks did it, man. They've been in touch with Minnesota for a couple of years now, and now Karl Towns is a Knick. So can't believe it. Just Living with another super chat. Appreciate you, Just Living, by the way. Yeah, and I kind of went through the timeline. Joe, those of you that are just joining, I kind of went through the timeline early on where this stems back from all the way to January when Julius Randle got hurt. And I feel like there was some turmoil between Julius Randle and the Knicks front office. Maybe he wanted to get the surgery or the Knicks wanted him to get the surgery. He wound up not getting the surgery back in January. He wanted to rehab and come back. Winds up re-injuring the shoulder. We see him, before that, we see him working out with his trainer. Remember, somebody took a picture of him in a gym, and it wasn't from a Knicks account, that he was working out, trying to get back. So fast forward to when it's time for an extension, nothing gets done. Something happens in terms of Instagram regarding Julius Randle tweeting or putting a picture of his jerseys not being sold and say the truth shall come out. And we thought nothing of it. We were just like, he's just messing around with us, man. Julius Randle, man, you funny, man. You just messing around with us. Get healthy, Ju. Big season ahead. Literally just in a player preview saying he was going to be another all-star. We thought Randle was joking. Then he releases a new sneaker. Then he releases a YouTube channel. The last section of the YouTube channel, in his first video, somebody asked him, so what's next for Julius Randle? I thought it was an odd question, but he answered the question kind of vaguely. I don't know. We'll see. I thought nothing of it. I was like, okay. Then he comes to New York. He has that little meeting with, with his foundation with the Knicks, and Adam Silver was there, and I think Bernard King, and it's a great foundation. So shout out to Big Jew. Walt Frazier was there. Tom Thibodeau was there talking about the upcoming season. Okay. We rolling. He's healthy. Tom Thibodeau was asked if Julius Randle's healthy. He's like, I think so. We good. We good. Training camp on Monday. Training camp on Tuesday. Let's get to it. Fast forward to today. He's gone. Randle's gone. Hope you guys caught that little timeline there. Your boy says, didn't he just break ground on a court named after him as well? Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. And look, it's a business at the end of the day, but we're all in. You know, put that aside. We are all in. The New York Knicks are if you think about it, they're kind of molding their team like Boston. They're kind of molding their team like the Celtics. You have two great wing players, Mikal and OG. Boston has two great wing players, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. We have the point guard. So do Boston with White and Holiday. You have a stretch five now. Boston has a stretch five in Porzingis. Knicks have a stretch five in Karl Towns. You have Mitchell Robinson, that defender, whenever he's back. You still have a great bench. not great, but now that Donte's leaving, you still have a good bench. So they're kind of molding their team like the Celtics. And I kind of like it. I'm kind of talking myself into it. Like, I know Towns is like a polarizing player and a lot of Knicks fans don't like him, but guys, he is on the Knicks now. And whether you don't like him or not, I feel like give it a chance because it's going to take some time to adjust, but please give it a chance because I truly do think this fit you're going to be surprised by. I truly do think that. Talking about a big man who could shoot 41% from three. Like Brunson shot, close to 40% last year. Mikal, 39%. OG, 44% from the corner. So losing Donte is I don't like that, man. I don't like it, but, I trust the Knicks' vision. I do. I trust the Knicks' vision. And it's tip the ball up, man. It's get to it. This was just a couple days ago, guys. Look at Randle's smile, by the way. He's wearing green, too. He knew. He's wearing green. With his little smirk, like, yeah, what's up, guys? I'm not going to be here in 2 days. I'm not going to be here. Randle knew. He knew, man. And look, reflecting on Julius Randle's time, look, shout out to Julius Randle. First and foremost, he came here when nobody else wanted to come here. Way back when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving went to Brooklyn, Julius Randle came to the New York Knicks, and people kind of crapped on that move that Julius Randle signed with the New York Knicks. And look, were there some rough pains? Yeah, man. I mean, he had a good couple of years in the playoffs versus the Atlanta Hawks. He was bad. We all seen the playoff graphics. We all see the playoff numbers, right? But then you fast forward to this coming year, he adjusted his game with OG Anunoby. He did everything, man, that the Knicks asked him to do. Unfortunately, got hurt versus the Miami Heat with his shoulder and rehabbed his butt back. And I was hoping for a good season, but just shout out to Julius Randle. He once a Knick, always a Knick. I know it's a cliche statement, but he kind of started it. He kind of started this train. And, I wish that he was on this team to kind of end it with hoist up that trophy, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Cat. So shout out to Big Jew and the Randle family. Yeah. Wow. Hit some of these comments. Appreciate every single one of you. Smash the subscribe button. Just on here talking Knicks, man. Talking Knicks. Queen's Kid says Thibs and Cat didn't end well. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it didn't end well in Minnesota, but as time went on, I think the last couple of seasons, Cat has kind of thrown that under the rug a little bit and said, no, I'm cool with Thibs. So we just have to wait and see. Wayne says, shout out to Randle, first one who wanted to come to New York. Nothing but love. That's all you can say, Wayne. Well said, Wayne. Nothing but love for Julius Randle, first one to kind of break the ice, man. Nobody else wanted to come here. Julius Randle came here. You can say that the Knicks threw money at him or yada, 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 but he came here and kind of started this whole train. Joel says, bro, if Isaiah Hartenstein stayed on the Knicks, we don't trade Randle and DiVincenzo. It's funny, in hindsight, right? If you want to look at it like that, do the Knicks do this if Hartenstein stays? That's a fascinating question. Do the Knicks do this trade if Isaiah Hartenstein winds up taking the money, not the money, but the deal from the New York Knicks? I don't know. I don't. And I don't think that this trade gets done if Hartenstein stays. I really don't. But the Knicks found themselves in a predicament. You could have faith in Jericho Sims. You could have faith in Huck Porty. You can have faith that, Precious would give you starting 5 minutes. But maybe they know that Julius Randle is not going to be available for the first 10, 15 games of the season. And they're like, guys, I mean, we can't do this. Maybe they know something we don't. And now they made the trade. Cat can play some center. He's a stretch 5. And we just go from there. But yeah, if Hartenstein stayed, would this trade have happened? Smart Kid says losing Donte was harder than Julius Randle. Yeah, Smart Kid, yeah. I mean, they're both hard, Smart Kid, but I think, as we kind of reflect during the week and during training camp, I think, a lot of Knicks fans are going to be appreciative for Julius Randle. You should be appreciative for Julius Randle. Dainty says, who is better, Chad, Wolves or Knicks? If the Knicks and the Wolves played each other in a 7-game series, who would win? Who would come out of that? Finals appearance? I don't know. I like it. That'll be some end of the book chapter, right? Julius Randle and the New York Knicks facing each other in the NBA Finals. That'll be fun. But we cross that bridge when we get there, man. Wow. Queens, we were damn near perfect in January. Sucks losing some New York tough players. Tried improving. Didn't the whole Rudy to Minnie thing happen to move Cat to the 4? And we plan on running him at the 5. He could play the 5. And Rudy Gobert was kind of like their Mitchell Robinson, kind of, sort of. So if you want to look at it like that, when Mitchell Robinson comes back, if he comes back, this Mitchell Robinson situation, that's another video. I mean, I was going to literally talk about that tomorrow, but if he comes back, that Karl-Anthony Towns could just slide to the 4. And he can fit well with a defensive big who can rebound, block shots. He can fit really well aside a defensive big. Because now in a perfect world right now, you're going to have 2 7-footers in your front court, Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and then you backlog that with Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson. That's still a hell of a lineup, but I mean, I'm not counting on Mitchell Robinson, guys. I'm not. I'm not right now, and that's maybe the Knicks are kind of in my same boat. They're just like, look, he gets back. If not, I don't know. Maybe they make another trade for a center. But this is crazy. I still can't believe it. Jeremy says Knicks in 4. We couldn't go into the season with Randle having to guard centers coming back from surgery. Yeah, we kind of brought that up in the Julius Randle player preview. We could not go into the season with Julius Randle playing center because of his shoulder. It was kind of like, this guy's coming off shoulder surgery. You're going to throw him at the center position? Really? It's not wise. It's not wise. So, I don't know. JB, Bridges, OG, Cat, and Mitch, not bad. It's not. It's not bad at all. It's a hell of a starting lineup. Look, even with Randle here, it was still a hell of a starting lineup. But with Cat and Mitch, it's still a hell of a starting lineup. With Cat, now you lose that bench piece in Donte. Knicks have a ton of faith that, they must have a ton of faith in Kolek. They must have a ton of faith that their bench is going to replace Donte's production. Campaign, Kolek, Shamit. That's why they were bringing in those guards. Marcus Morris still has a chance to make this team. So Knicks, they have a ton of faith in their system, and we just have to wait and see. But I believe that this will work. I truly believe this will work. But losing Donte hurts. That's one where I'm like, if you were to ask me, do I think the Knicks kind of overpaid a little bit? I would say yes. But I don't know this. I don't know the situation regarding Randle's shoulder. I don't. And I'm pulling up Karl-Anthony Towns' contract right now, and I've said multiple times we've gone through this a lot. We've gone through Karl-Anthony Towns' contract situation, and guys, it's not that great. It's not that great. But in today's NBA, you can make it work. I mean, shout out to Jalen Brunson, because obviously him taking this pay cut kind of bodes well right now to fit in this Karl-Anthony Towns contract. Let me share my screen once again. All right, so $49 million this year, $53 million next year, $57 million in 2026, 2027, $61 million player option in 2027, 2028. That is Karl Anthony Towns. Now, before everyone gets all crazy, Julius Randle was due for an extension. Randle's numbers were kind of going to be similar to this. 40s, 45-ish, 50 million, if the Minnesota Timberwolves decide to give him that contract extension. But let's say Randle doesn't really have a good year, has to pick up the player option. Knicks are just guarding themselves if Julius Randle was to leave them, because that was also a possibility. Randle could have balled. Let's say Julius Randle balled out this season, then declined his player option. Now what? He's a free agent. It's game. It's all game from there. Anyone can grab him. And the Knicks would have lost him for nothing. So Knicks have guarded themselves into acquiring Karl Anthony Towns. And now we just have to wait and see how this new look New York Knicks team looks like. I'm excited. I am kind of nervous and excited, but at the end of the day, I trust this front office, and that's all that matters. Towns Muse, see Towns Muse on the timeline, just going through the timelines. Things have from Mark Berman, Leon Rose may have saw what I saw. A team hardly a lock to get out of the second round, swings for the fences with idea. Jules is at stage of a career where injuries are concerned. However, Karl Anthony Towns can thrive in New York City, as well as playoff Donte did. As well, can Karl Anthony Towns thrive in New York City as well as Donte did? Donte DiVincenzo to the Nova Knicks after he got traded. You mother. Okay. You mother. Wow, what a tweet. What a tweet, man. He's gone. Randle's gone. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, guys. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe at all. But trust the front office. Trust the front office. Lewis, what's going on? Exactly. Mitch might not be back until January. He could replace Lewis. What's going on, Lewis? Queen's Kid says, does Bridges and Cat make up for the threes we lose in Donte? I would say yeah. Man. Look, if you go back to the Bridges trade, we gave up a lot of first round picks, but in terms of like actual players, it was Bogdanovich, right? So you kind of added Bridges for just picks. So you already added a great player for just picks. You didn't kind of swap player for player, good player for like the Randle deal. You didn't swap players for another good player. So adding Bridges, adding Cat, they can kind of, make up for the loss in Donte threes. I like that. I see these are the conversations that the Knicks front office have been having for days, and it's a good thought because I didn't even think of it like that, but I'm happy you brought that up, Queen's Kid. Appreciate you in the chat. But because Cat is a elite 3-point shooter. He is. I'm just going back to Karl Anthony Towns' playoff stats last year because I know he had some great games for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, last season he averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists in 16 games in the 2024 playoffs for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And versus the Denver Nuggets, okay. I remember versus the Nuggets, he was playing really well versus the Nuggets. He had a big game in Denver, big games in Phoenix. Versus Dallas, 28 points, 25 points, 28 and 12. So one slight that Julius Randle had was what? Knicks didn't see a good, healthy Julius Randle playoff Julius Randle. He showed a lot in the regular season, but when the playoffs hit, that's where his percentages kind of fell off a little bit. So Karl Anthony Towns has been solid for the Timberwolves in the playoffs when it matters the most. He's been there, done that. Last season alone, he went through 3 rounds in the NBA playoffs. And look, does he come with injury concern as well? He does. But the Knicks are looking at this like, look, we're taking a sure thing in the playoffs, a sure playoff performer who performs well when the lights are bright. We're taking that over a guy coming off shoulder surgery that can have long ramifications that we can't foresee right now. So if you look at it like that, that's a win for the New York Knicks. That's a win in itself for the New York Knicks, right? So just go from there, guys. Just go from there. Sam says, I don't get this. All these great moves and then this. Why they had to give up Donte? Crazy. I hope it works out. Sam, appreciate the comment. I hope it works out too. MRD Gaming, I expected a Randle trade. Completely blindsided by Devo in the mix. That one stings. The Knicks had to make the money work. And that is why the New York Knicks that's why the campaign signing now kind of looms large. We kind of were like scratching our head up for it. The Landry Shamet signing, we were kind of like, okay, Exhibit 9 deal. He's going to compete. Will he make the team now? It's kind of a given now, in my opinion. Veteran, not Donte DiVincenzo. Number one, he's not. First of all, campaign and Landry Shamet, they don't combine to be Donte DiVincenzo, by the way. And remember, Tyler Kolek. Knicks drafted Tyler Kolek in the second round, and they have high hopes for this kid. They do. They gave him, I think, the most guaranteed money for a second-round pick, and they didn't do that by accident. He's going to play this year. He is. Wayne, let's get the season started. Can't wait to see the new look Knicks. I can't wait, Wayne. I can't wait. Cat is a 2022 NBA three-point champion. He can shoot. That's not a question. It's the toughness aspect of it stings because I know Cat is kind of like not on the softer side, but he's not Julius Randle. Like Randle brought a type of toughness to the team that we were lacking, which is why when we signed Marcus Morris, we were kind of like, okay, you bring in Marcus Morris and you have Julius Randle here. All right, the tough boys are back. Cat is, there's a lot of videos online of him, with his press conferences and with his different voices and whatnot. But Randle's tough. I'm not saying Cat isn't tough, but losing that is going to hurt. Queen's Kid says Bridges trade was A+. Smart kid. Julius sold in the playoffs. Yeah, like I just brought it up, man. His percentages in the playoffs were rough. So now you bring in Cat, who's kind of not solidified himself, but had some good playoff moments last year for this New York Knicks. He's a New York Knick now, but he had some playoff moments for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now he's a Knick. He is a Knick. Karl Anthony Towns, welcome to New York. I can't wait to get this started, man. This has been a crazy last 45 minutes, by the way. Crazy last 45 minutes. Wow. MRD Gaming, what a super chat. Appreciate you, MRD Gaming. Really do. New subscriber here. I appreciate the content. Let's go, Knicks. MRD Gaming, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for supporting. Look, we just got off doing a player preview for every single Knick. We actually have a player preview scheduled for Jalen Brunson coming out tomorrow that, we talked about Randle in that player preview, and I don't even know if I should post that at this moment. But I think I may, but now we have to do a player preview for Karl Anthony Towns. We thought we were done with the player previews. We're not. But MRD, appreciate the super chat, man. We're just getting started, man. We are just getting started over here at Knicks Nation, for real. Queen's Kid says second unit of TKO, Deuce, Hart, Precious, Morris, and Mitch when he gets back. Yeah, I was kind of excited having Donte DiVincenzo back on the bench with Josh Hart and Deuce. But at the end of the day, if you looked at it, it was really going to be hard to get those guys significant minutes when you had OG and Mikal and Jalen who need 35 plus minutes a night. It was going to be hard to mix and match all of that. And who knows, man? I mean, look, Donte was just at an event in New York City last week that he was actually late to. I don't know if he knew a trade was going down. He's kind of been like isolated. He had a baby this past summer too. So, I mean, it was going to be hard. What I'm trying to get at, it was going to be hard finding those minutes that Donte had in the starting lineup off the bench for him. Now that you brought in Mikal. Now, Dibs can kind of play around a little bit with the bench. He can kind of do his own thing. Okay, show me something, Kolek. Show me something in training camp. Deuce, we need you. Shamit, veteran, not Donte. Not Donte. He's not. But he's here now. He's definitely making a team, by the way. Shamit. Definitely. And more so making a team. So, especially in the playoffs where your best players are playing 40 plus minutes a night anyway, and you kind of have sparks off the bench here and there, you still have that offensive punch off the bench. But Donte is a loss. I'm not saying he's not a loss. That's what stings, you know. Donte. I saw Randle. I was shocked, but I was like, okay, you're getting Cat. Donte? I don't know, man. This guy right here, DiVincenzo, man. Donte, man. Good luck in Minnesota, Donte, man. The big ragu. We're going to miss you over here in New York. Really are. Joe says, okay, but Randle and Ragu threes, Bogdanovich threes versus Katz and Bridges. Bogdanovich was a spark in the playoffs. Randle wasn't around in the playoffs. Ragu was a big part of our success in the playoffs. The Knicks feel like a healthy Karl-Anthony Towns with a good Mikal Bridges can kind of combat that, and they'll be a better team all around. They feel like that. So Lewis says Cat hit 136 threes last season. That's a lot. That's a lot. He's not a slouch in terms of shooting the rock, man. He is an elite three-point shooter. There's going to be times when Jalen Brunson is going to be, the lanes are going to be open. OG in one quarter, Mikal in one quarter, Cat kind of free roaming, Cat giving the pick and roll to Jalen Brunson. And you can't help pick and rolls with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Good luck. You can't kind of like double team Jalen Brunson and kind of help off of Cat's man can't kind of help off of him because Cat's going to be open at the top of the key. And he's going to make it. So that's exciting. You know, offensively, I feel like we're going to be okay. I really do. It's kind of like the shockness, the Knicks kind of like, I wouldn't say ruining the chemistry that is already here or breaking up something that was working so well for them. That is where I'm like, okay, does that kind of take its toll on this team? When you trade away a Randle and a Ragu and you bring in another new piece, does it kind of break the mold of, you know, the chemistry? You know, everything's new now. And that's important. It is. So, only time will tell. Only time and tell. MRD Gaming said there's an old New York saying, scared money don't make money. And I think Leon showed us he ain't afraid to make these tough decisions. Look, when Leon Rose first came here, he was kind of, you know, not hesitant. He was smart with his move, calculated. Leon Rose, very calculated. First major move was the OG Anunoby trade. That trade kind of set the Knicks fans were like, oh, OG Anunoby and Emmanuel Quickley. I mean, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley for OG. It worked. We signed OG to the biggest Knicks contract in Knicks history. What are we, 26-5 with OG Anunoby in the lineup? It worked. So trust the vision, trust the front office. But messing up the number one thing I think the concern will be right now is messing up kind of like the juju, kind of like the mojo, the juice that this New York Knicks team was carrying from last season with Donte, with the healthy Julius. But for the most part, you can say like Knicks were one game away, a healthy OG Anunoby game away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals without Julius Randle. It's a reality, right? It's the reality. One game away, everyone got hurt, Brunson got hurt. If OG Anunoby didn't get hurt in that Indiana Pacers series, we would have beat them. And then it was house money playing Boston. Now you add Cat, who's had playoff experience, who performs well in the playoffs, and Mikal Bridges as well. We building something here, man. And NY Sports, I think this Julius injury is bigger than we know, and they needed to attach Devo to the trade because of it. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the kind of like the next domino to kind of see fall is whether or not Julius Randle is going to be healthy for the start of the season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, Smart Kid says Cat is going to fit in perfectly because he can do so much offensively. So much offensively. James, as long as Knicks have Thibs, they'll be good. Appreciate the comment, James. Joe says, but he can't do it defensively, Cat. You win championships with defense. Joe, we just acquired Mikal Bridges, who was all defensive first team a few years back, and we paired him with OG Anunoby, Joe. We're going to be okay defensively, I think. And Cat ain't no slouch on defense. When we get Mitch back, hopefully we'll get Mitch back. We're going to be okay. We got two of the best wing defenders in the NBA, Joe. So I feel like we'll be okay on that front. James, just 2 days ago at a groundbreaking ceremony for the school in the Bronx, Randle, the longest tenured on the team, was honored and donating $1.3 million. Yeah, we talked about that, Joe. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast the NBA moves. And I really do think like we've been through all the, like, I kind of went through the timeline earlier about Julius Randle and the New York Knicks kind of butting heads maybe. And we just kind of went through the timeline, and I think Randle wanted to get paid, and the Knicks didn't want to pay him. At the end of the day, I think that was the final straw. That was it. And we started to kind of see a frustrated Julius Randle, but us Knicks fans were kind of brushing it under the rug, kind of like, nah, he's good. He's good. On Instagram, the YouTube channel, there's some tea leaves in those videos. There are. I even think he was in Minnesota. He has a house in Minnesota, I even think. So there's some tea leaves in there. All the dots are connected now. They're starting to connect in my head. Something fell off. And now we know something was off. Smart Kid says, I'm excited to see Cat and Embiid go at it. We know they hate each other. A lot of different things I'm excited to see, honestly. Now, Cat, he's going to be here for Media Day. He will be with the New York Knicks. Okay, all right, we're starting to get more information come out. Let me just share my screen with you guys again. Donte DiVincenzo was a sticking point in trade talks between New York and Minnesota. Minnesota became very intrigued once DiVincenzo became a realistic option. DiVincenzo, who set New York record for made threes, may have come off New York Knicks bench this season. So the Knicks were haggling over this. The Knicks did not want to include Donte DiVincenzo, but something pushed them over the edge. Something pushed them to trade Donte DiVincenzo alongside of Julius Randle. And you had to kind of make the money work, by the way. I mean, you could have made it work by adding Mitch too, and maybe a Deuce. But do you really want to lose Mitch and Deuce? Or would you rather lose Donte? And I know a lot of you says you would rather lose Mitch and Deuce, or you would rather not make the trade at all. But the Knicks were making this was the tough decisions for New York Knicks. All right. Let's go to Fred's Cat's tweets. Daquan Jeffries and draft compensation of Charlotte. This is a lot, man. This is a lot. The Timberwolves have liked Donte for a long time. They were a close second on his list when he was a free agent in 2023. Minnesota had a real chance to get him, but he chose the Knicks. Okay, don't really want to hear that. Now we have to wait. Do you guys think Mitchell Robinson's next? I don't know. Is Mitchell Robinson the next one to go? It's funny because now that I go back to his Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns' matchups, Randle took those matchups extremely personal. Extremely personal. There's a lot of games versus Karl Anthony Towns or Julius Randle was the man and won those matchups. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Somebody knew. Karl Anthony Towns rumors. They're now we got to deal with all these memes on our team, by the way. All these memes. Towns is a Knick. Now we got to deal with all these memes, the press conferences. Oh my goodness. Thank you for everything, Julius Randle, man. Thank you for everything. Jesus. Oh my goodness, man. Karl Anthony Towns is still processing this trade, according to a source close to him, but it's worth noting Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau has been publicly very complimentary of him since he left Minnesota. So he's still processing the trade. Well, Towns, time to not process the trade and get your ass to New York because you are a Knick. New York Knicks are paying Karl Anthony Towns $220 million over the next 4 years. Look, a Julius Randle contract would have kind of looked like that, so I'm not really concerned over the contract money, but Bobby Marks, the Knicks have been in contact with multiple teams to expand this trade, to absorb additional salary. Expect the third team to get involved. So this trade is not official yet. It's not done. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell Robinson is kind of thrown in this deal maybe and shipped somewhere else and the Knicks acquire another big. Nick Richards has been linked to the New York Knicks. So this is it's a lot. It's a lot to process, and we're kind of processing it on the spot. And I'm happy that you guys are tuned in and bearing with me throughout this Julius Randle massive trade to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And wow, oh man. Something told me like when Johnny Bryant left this team, and I know Johnny Bryant's an assistant coach, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot of dots that weren't connecting. Like there was just a lot of unknowns. Like was Randle happy? Was he happy with the front office? I don't know. And maybe we'll never know. But like Randle said a couple of weeks ago, the truth shall come out. And when he goes to Minnesota, will he answer questions? What is the truth, Julius Randle? What is the truth? Did you want to get the surgery and the Knicks told you not to? Did the Knicks want you to get the surgery? When you got hurt playing, when you re-injured your shoulder, remember you leaked that to the media, kind of went under the radar. Were the Knicks happy that you did? I'm sure the Knicks weren't happy that you leaked that to the media. It's just a lot of dots that, you know, are starting to make sense to me in my head, because this is kind of the way I process is to talk things out with you guys. But yeah, I mean it's it. I mean it's done. It's done. It's done, man. Is done. Unless we get Durant for that rumored first, with the Pistons being rumored third team in the deal, I don't think we trade Mitch. $8 million needs to be traded by the Knicks to make the trade work. So maybe Mitchell to the Hornets. Just a thought. Yeah, man, the trade is not official yet. So this trade could involve Mitchell Robinson going in a different direction. And Mitchell Robinson is another one who has been on Instagram kind of, I don't know what he's complaining about, or he's like, what did he say on Instagram the other day? He said something along with Randle, saying something like the truth will come out, or, something like that. I don't know, man. This guy's always on Instagram tweeting something, but maybe he's going to be paired with Julius Randle and shipped to another third team. So the trade isn't official yet, and we just have to wait and see. Ibani, did the trade happen? Yeah. I mean, Ibani, the trade has happened. It's not official yet, but we don't know where the New York Knicks are going to have to add that extra contract from. So, wow. Ian Begley says Detroit, Atlanta, Miami, among other teams the Knicks talked about with trades for Julius Randle. Minnesota slashes its future payroll by acquiring Randle, who could be a free agent this summer. Knicks get big man. They've been always lauding at Karl Anthony Towns. Wow. Yeah, so it's a very fluent situation. And it's not an official trade yet, but we know the basics are the two major parts of this trade are Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns, and three major parts are Donte DiVincenzo. James says, this is a quote from Karl Anthony Towns. I've always been a Knicks fan. My favorite player for the Knicks is a tie between Walt Frazier and Patrick Ewing. That's from Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, he's a Knick. Welcome to New York, Karl Anthony Towns. Welcome to New York, Karl Anthony Towns. So, look, we've talked about a lot tonight, man. Going through the trade, we've talked about, the ramifications of this new look Knicks team. Now, there's going to be an adjustment with newly acquired Mikal Bridges, newly acquired Karl Anthony Towns. I can't believe I'm saying that. And there's going to be an adjustment, but I have trust that, Jalen Brunson and the rest of the Knicks can adjust. But a couple of years back when, I thought the New York Knicks were going to make a major trade, when the New York Knicks they signed Jalen Brunson, and when they were kind of like hovering over this, like we just got eliminated from the Heat in that last year, 2 years ago. And I was kind of saying, you build your team around Jalen Brunson. He's 1A. He is the guy you build your team around, Jalen Brunson. You do whatever it takes to build your team around Jalen Brunson. And the Knicks have done that. They've acquired Mikal Bridges. They've acquired Karl Anthony Towns. They acquired OG Anunoby, two great wing defenders alongside Jalen Brunson. Drafted Kolek. You have Deuce on the bench. You're losing major pieces in Randle and Donte, but, you have to kind of lose to win. Lose pieces to get to the promised land. And I feel like the Knicks front office, have come to a conclusion, like everything compiled, the Randle contract, the Mitch Robinson being out there until February. They just finally said to themselves, like, we can't afford to throw away this season. Not throw it away, but kind of go into this season with kind of blind faith with our center position, not knowing the health of Julius Randle. We can't afford that. Like, we want to win this year. Let's do it. And they pulled the trigger. Karl Anthony Towns is a New York Knick, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate every single one of you that joined me here tonight. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. This is just a fluent situation. I mean, I honestly can't believe this has happened, but it has happened. And the basketball side of things we're going to get into, and the more I talk myself into it, the more I like it, simply due to the fact that Towns is an elite three-point shooter. He can play in the playoffs, has been there, done that. And the pick and rolls with Jalen Brunson now are going to be, in my opinion, they're going to be awesome. So, yeah, I mean, new look Knicks, 2024-2025. Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. So you've lost Julius Randle. Your rotational players that you lost, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Donte DiVincenzo. You've replaced him with Karl Anthony Towns, with a mixture of Kolek, and who am I missing? I'm blanking right now. Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. Excuse me. Yeah. That's the crux of this deal. And I'm still kind of in shock right now, honestly, but it's done. Jalen has a stamp of approval on this as well. Queens Kid 89 says, yeah, Villanova crew is no more. Like the talk of the summer was the Nova kids, the Nova boys. Like that was the talk of the summer. It was all Nova boys. And the Knicks didn't. Like the Nova boys are a cool story, but at the end of the day, you can't prevent that from, trading down the line. And the Knicks, maybe they got seal of approval from Jalen Brunson. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they ran it by him. But at the end of the day, they had to do what's best for their organization. And they think acquiring Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges this summer will bring them to the top. Mike Woods, what's going on, Mike? I can't believe it. I don't know how to feel, but I know losing Ragu hurts like hell. It does, Mike. Losing the big Ragu hurts a lot. Hurts a lot, but like we said, we talked through it earlier, like the addition of Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges in terms of shooting the three. Does that make up for the threes lost from Donte? I don't know. Maybe the Knicks are looking at it like that because you're having Donte come off the bench now. Remember that. So, the Knicks kind of feel like they have enough offense. I feel like they have enough offense. I do. They almost went to the Eastern Conference Finals with just Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and kind of like Donte kind of being their leading scorers, right? So now you add Mikal this summer, you add Karl Anthony Towns this summer. You're kind of building your team like the Boston Celtics, like we talked about it earlier on in the live stream. 2 major trades in the summer of 2024 for the New York Knicks. Mikal Bridges and now Karl Anthony Towns. If you were to tell me this would happen, I'll be like, man, come on, man. Quit playing around. Stop lying. Like, the Knicks are not doing that. Well, 2 days before Media Day, it's done. And the Knicks wanted to do this before Media Day. We didn't even get to see the Nova Knicks play together. Yeah, we did, Samuel. In Villanova, we got to see them play together and win national championships together. So, yeah, we didn't even get to see them play together. On the Knicks, Donald says, I'm truly done with the Knicks. Donald doesn't like it, Donald. Why don't you like this deal, Donald? Talk to me. See if you can get your comment in on time. But Donald doesn't like it. I'm truly done with the Knicks. It stems back from Mitchell Robinson, I'm telling you. And it stems back from the Isaiah Hartenstein thing. Hartenstein leaves. Knicks kind of have all this faith in Mitchell Robinson. And he's not healthy. Not going to be available till January. Maybe even February. Knicks are thin up front. So they had to do something. And they chose to make a big splash and not go like the Nick Richards route, the Walker Kessler route. Look, they still could do that. But it's Towns. It's Towns. Someone said Ayton Smarter. Yeah, the Ayton rumors came out, I think, today too. So I don't know. At this point, everything is on the table at this point. Everything is on the table regarding the New York Knicks. Everything. In terms of trades. Because it just seems like the Knicks have been trigger happy in terms of a lot of these trades lately. And the funny thing is, the Knicks play the Timberwolves on October 13th in the preseason. October 13th, they play the Timberwolves. Oh, man. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. I don't mean to be that guy. Maybe it's his personality, but since the offseason started, Donte's energy has seemed a bit off. Wasn't at the live podcast. Just doesn't seem as hyped for the Nova Boys pairing as we were. I don't know. You just don't trade him like that. You don't. We talked about it too in the Donte player preview. Like he kind of has an attitude to him, and I love it. I love it, by the way. And but he's kind of always been that, even the Villanova guys said that Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart said he was kind of like the outcast. Not the outcast, but they kind of like knew that he was never going to come out with them. Like they would go out to eat and he would never come out with them. So I wouldn't say that the vibes were off, but look, he just had a baby and everyone's doing their own thing during the summer, during the off season. So maybe he knew something was brewing. I don't know. You guys are witnessing me follow Karl Anthony Towns. We are now following Karl Anthony Towns. ... Karl Anthony Towns is now a New York Knick. Can't believe it. Donald said, all right, let's go to Donald. Donald, I see your comments in the chat, Donald. I see him. Brunson allowed this? Some captain. F Dolan, F Rose, F Jalen, F the whole rotten organization. Wow, Donald. That's some strong words from Donald right there. Captain Brunson, look, I wouldn't say he's not the GM, Donald. So he's going to say all the right things. Whatever you think makes the team better, I'm all for it. Maybe Julius Randle is not healthy. Maybe he's not going to be healthy until midseason. Who knows? But I'm not going to go that route, Donald. Yeah, Donte's going to be coming off the bench from Minnesota too. So I don't know. Looking for Wolves, Lagerson, graduate and follow my new team. Should have left this organization after Clyde trade. Donald doesn't like this move, man. Hey, let's bring some positivity to this move, to this trade. But look, guys, the reality is, Karl Anthony Towns is a New York Knick. We've gone through all the kind of different avenues it took to get here. All the pinpoints that we tried to go through, trying to connect the dots here and there. And it just didn't work out regarding Julius Randle. We said, look, shout out to Julius Randle. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Started it all. Came here when no one else wanted. And I thought he was really not going to ever be traded. And it's happened. It's done. It's done. Wow. Julius Randle's no longer a Knick. Smart Kid says Donte is a great player, but he is a role player. Yeah. I wouldn't call him look, you can replace role players, right? You can replace that. As great of a season as Donte had last season, the Knicks look at it like you're kind of replacing it with Mikal Bridges. And you can kind of fit in your pieces off the bench with, now you move Josh Hart to the bench, Deuce McBride, Tyler Kolek, Campaign. What's his name from Phoenix that we just signed to an Exhibit 9 deal? That he's going to compete for a spot. So they start looking at this many different ways, man. Many different ways. A lot to talk about, but it's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and still process this. I appreciate every single one of you tuning into this impromptu live stream. Subscribe to the channel. More Knicks content coming your way. I'll probably be back on live on Sunday talking about this. I'll probably post a video, so make sure you smash the notification bells. And it's just going to keep on coming. The content's going to keep on coming. We'll end it with Mike's comment. My only problem is which cat are we going to get? Kitty Cat or Thundercat? Landry Shaman, that's his name. Sorry, the name escaped me. My only problem is which cat are we going to get? Kitty Cat or Thundercat? We better damn well get Thundercat, Mike. Ain't no kitty cat in New York, man. Can't have no kitty cats. Can't. So, Cat, up for the challenge. I'm excited. New look Knicks. It's going to be fun. Training camp, couple days. Wild. Media day, couple days. Wild. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. Subscribe to the channel. Karl Anthony Towns is a Knick. Julius Randle. Appreciate you, guy. Donte, much love to you, guy. I'm signing off. I'm out of here. Let's go Knicks. Peace.